Hi guys, I am Doomsday. Welcome back to the For Your Information series. This is a little weird in that I'm re-recording the Assassin's video. Because, he's an assassin. Um, and the reason I'm doing that is because the hour-long video was just too long. I talked about talents for every single hero, and I don't think that's actually very helpful for what the series is. If you're new to the series, though, this is the video to watch. If you want to get a good idea of every single assassin and their talents, though, I have left that video up. But really, this is one you want to watch to get a quick and dirty overview of how these different heroes work. There's really two different types. Actually, technically, three different types of assassins. You're going to have your sustained damage, which would be like a Rainer. That's focused on auto attack. Literally, the attack your character will do without you having to do anything. Typical auto attack heroes are called sustained heroes just because they don't do burst damage. That's the other type, which would be your Lunara, your Li Ming, heroes like that, your Chromies. Now, the difference, the third category is your sustain assassins. Gul'dan, Illidan, Thrall, Raynor, Alarak, Vala, Tychus, Ragnaros are all ones with self-sustain. I don't believe... Well, technically, Butcher also has self-sustain. I don't believe I missed anybody. Let me know in the comments, because I know I can trust you guys will let me know. Ovarian. Sorry. He's a multi-class hero, so I've tried to avoid him, because he'll be in his own video. Hopefully, by that point, we have more multi-class heroes. But those are the three different types. We got, the auto attack, sustain, which you can do with Varian. You can also do burst damage, which technically with his ultimate you can also do with Varian. And then the burst damage ones that are really the flashy ones, like Li Ming, whose trait is literally resetting all of her cooldowns. And well, technically, actually, I'm sorry, there's like a fourth category, and it all kind of intermingles in that you have ranged assassin versus melee assassin. Literally, the only difference is are all their auto attacks close range, and actually you have to hit the enemy hero, or are their auto attacks ranged? Typically, the burst heroes are the ones who can have the ranged attacks. Mages are what you'll typically hear, which we have Li Ming, Jaina, and Kel'Thas. Oh, sorry. And Chromie. I don't play a lot of Chromie, so apologies for not remembering her. I'm sure someone will be letting me know in the comments. Actually, I say that, but I have really awesome viewers who've been extremely helpful. Again, shout out to Mr. Nobody. You've given me good feedback on this series, so hopefully you like this video. But those are the four different types, and determining what you are more comfortable with is really going to determine your playstyle. Like, a player who plays Thrall, in my opinion, will not be as comfortable on a Kel'Thas, not only because one's melee, one's ranged, but Thrall has self-sustain from level 1, while Kel'Thas really can only get a shield. He doesn't have any way to heal himself. Tracer could technically get it at level 20, but she's also very hard to play. Not very many of these are easy. And part of the reason is, even someone like Illidan that has self-sustain, because he is a melee character, once he gets in, he is in. Same with Butcher. Samuro can get away, but if he gets stunned, he's just dead. Varian, Kerrigan, Alarak are all really, like, if they are in the game, they are in the game. They cannot disengage really well. And figuring out your positioning is going to be very important. Alarak is going to be a frontline assassin, which will translate into how good you are at warriors. So if you're really good at warriors, Alarak's maybe one you want to pick up. But if you cannot position well and you find yourself constantly dying, pick someone who has to be further away from the fight, like a Vala, a Tychus, or a Raynor, but who can. And by the way, you'll notice I've picked all sustained characters. Those are all heroes that are going to have to be further back, but have ways of not punishing you severely for your poor positioning. While on the other hand, someone like Li Ming, who is classified as hard, I'd say medium. The hard part is landing her skill shots, which aren't super hard, and comboing them well. She doesn't reward you as well for punish you. She punishes you more severely for being out of position. Lunar is another one, and so same with Kerrigan. These are all technically burst characters that are really fun and you can make really cool plays with, but if you are not good at positioning, especially if you're not good at understanding how fights are evolving and when your team's winning or losing and where you need to be in that fight, I would avoid these heroes. Specifically, the Raynor, Tychus, Vala are all ones you can pretty much play from the beginning who have good lane presence. And that's an important part about Assassins as well, is how well they can lane by themselves, how well they can actually clear out all those minions, and how much mana that's going to take. Jaina is a good example of one that's technically classified as easy. I like the fact I can hover, but if I'm just leaving it over here, it sucks that it does that, because it looks funny on video and bothers me. But Jaina's one that very easily, with one cooldown, can clear a whole minion wave, but also has mana problems. So she can be bullied in a lane if you're not really good at positioning. Kel'Thas as well. Gul'dan can be a little more forgiving in that you can restore your mana, and he is very good lane clear with some short cooldowns. But your only way to get back mana is to sacrifice your own health. So as a new player, figure out what you prefer. Typically, range just in general is going to be much easier for you as a new player because you're just not as familiar with those fights. But someone like Thrall, who's a good solo laner, has a built-in disengage in Earthquake or Sunder, both of his ultimates at level 10, and is just, he doesn't do a ton of damage, but he has all of his abilities give him back health, which is technically not true, but don't worry about that now. Once you get in and play him, you'll understand. Someone like Ragnaros, who is, even though, by the way, Thrall and Rag are both melee, but are both sustain, and have built-in ways to mitigate damage that'll really help you not get just bursted down. While if you try to jump in with someone like Greymane, if you don't position well in a fight, he doesn't have any way to get back health, and he's just gonna die. I haven't spoken about Gaul because he's a two-player character, so don't worry about him. Zeratul and Nova are ones I would suggest picking up later if you enjoy being stealthy. Same with Samara, but they're all harder to play because you have to position so perfectly. Notice I'm saying it over and over and over and over again. Your position as an assassin is going to determine your success. Not understanding as someone like Thrall when to jump in, he does have a built-in disengage in his E and his Wind Fury, but you are an initiator on your team, so if you go in and your team's like, okay, we're doing this, and then you're running away, that's very bad for your team because you can play the role of a warrior for your team, not your main warrior, but maybe an off tank. That's those fights are just going to go poorly for your team. Now, in general, your ranged assassins can do pretty good on point control maps. Typically, you want sustained characters on those point control map, Braxis, Sky Temple, even Curse Hollow to an extent, because you have to grab that tribute. Anything that requires sustained team fights, you are going to want to pick someone who has sustain. Now, burst characters, on the other hand, are going to have the most impact on maps like Curse Hollow, where there's going to be very congested team fights where you can do a lot of AoE damage. Then you need to figure out what your team comp look like. Like, I don't suggest picking a Chromie if your team went very squishy just in general and you don't have a very solid anchor tank. Falstead's good on any map because he can fly around. So he can basically fit in any team comp with a built-in disengage in his gust. So there's not a map that really Falstead is going to be bad at. Well, he's good on bigger maps. If you don't know when to fly, be very careful about using that ability too much, because you may fly to the top lane and the objective spawns in the bottom lane, and now you basically have to walk there. Most of the sustain heroes I would probably take on any map, but someone like Alarak, who has to be up close and personal, is going to suffer in the same situation as a Chromie. If your team is not coordinated enough and is diving in constantly and dying, Alarak can't turn those fights around. He really does well when your team is kind of evenly balanced and can take some of the focus away from him. Same with like a Butcher or an Illidan. They don't do well on squishy teams. It's just they can't do what you need an assassin to do. And what I mean by that is Ragnaros and Thrall, and even to an extent Tychus, can all take a brunt of damage and live through it and protect whoever your other assassin is, or even your support. So understanding that aspect of your team comp, understanding the map you're playing on, is going to go a long way to help you determine which ones you're good at. If you find yourself gravitating towards ranged assassins, I wouldn't suggest playing tanks, just because you are not used to being a frontliner. But if you have very good understanding of team fights, and like as a good, for instance, if you're on Sky Temple and the temple's almost dead, and you guys are trying to contest, but you're down a couple levels, if you understand the best thing to do is disengage and poke, then you actually might not be a bad warrior because you're understanding how a team fight and an objective and the flow of a battle works. On the other hand, if you find yourself doing really well as Thrall, Illidan, Samuro, Butcher, Alarak, Kerrigan, Varian, a lot of these in-your-face type of assassins, you would gravitate towards a bruiser in that warrior role. But understand the same team comp that an Illidan works on is not the same team comp a Chromie works on. So really pay attention as you're playing your assassin role of what your team needs you to do. Don't go in with a built-in build. Like, do not go in as Li Ming and just be like, I'm just shooting orbs. If they have a Thrall and an Illidan, you are not going to get value out of those orbs. So make sure as you're practicing in AI and quick match that you're varying up your talent builds. I think that's a really good recap of all these assassins in 11 minutes, not an hour and 7 minutes. If there's anything I missed, I did not go over all these heroes. I just gave you a general overview of how they work. The build videos will be coming out. I've already done one for Raynor and Jaina. Next up is Vala. At the time of this recording, I should specify. But we're going to be going through the whole list. So if you're really looking for specific talent builds, don't worry, they'll be coming out. I'm going to go over all the easy heroes, all the medium heroes, all the hard heroes, and then after that, or even during that, as I do my Monday videos, if you're going to need to request a specific build or have questions about a specific character, put it in the comments. I try to get those videos out. I've already done 2 or 3 for viewers, specifically asking about Jaina, Nazeebo, and I think that's actually, no, I thought it was 3, but anyway, those are the 2 I can think of. So please feel free to respond to me. Let me know if there's anything I missed, anything I didn't go over that would be helpful to you as an Assassin's player. I try to respond to the comments as much as I can, which really depends on how much time I have. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is going to try to be the length that these overview videos will be. The ones that are going to be a little bit more in depth is when I'm going to be going over maps, because it requires an actual launch. Whacked my headphones. Not that you need to know that, but it's good to know why I didn't freak out for nothing. But I'm going to have to actually launch into the maps and show you what they look like. And as best I can in a very small time frame, I'll also show you the tributes spawning on like a Cursed Hollow. That'll be an interesting one. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. It's going to be a little bit longer, and I may split it into multiple videos. I'm probably going to do, in fact, I'm going to say I'm going to do point control versus traditional maps versus like a Battlefield of Eternity where you're actually killing an Immoral, which would also be similar to Haunted Mines where you're killing or you're trying to summon golems based on how many skulls you collect. So stuff like that. That way you guys aren't overwhelmed by another long video. But anyway, I am Doomsday. Peace out. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the Nexus. Don't forget to friend request me. Don't forget to tweet at me. Don't forget to comment, like, comment, subscribe. Please, please, please share this with as many new players as you can. Have them fill up my comments with questions. That's the goal of this series. I know I am not like an expert, and I always go to different sources as well. So as for instance, for the map video, I'm going to use someone else's resource and just explain it my own way because I know they know what they're talking about. So yeah, let me know if you have any feedback at all, guys. Have a good one.